Hey there, I'm Emma. Welcome back to the studio for another Altburg Market painting session. In this episode, we'll be painting some of the tools, a crate and a ladder in order to use them as decorative elements on our cottage diorama. Tabletop World announced their 2024 annual painting competition, and we'll do our best to complement our cottage diorama before the end of April. During the video, we'll talk about the dry brushing technique, and we'll study some of the subtle aspects of this process to get the most out of it. Stay tuned for some useful painting insights. We'll be using Vallejo colors, but feel free to use your favorite brand. As usual, we'll showcase all the colors we'll be using, and please feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions. Dry brushing is a popular technique to highlight raised surfaces and bring out details on textures like fur, chainmail, stone, or wood. It's a versatile process that can be used in various painting styles and genres. Since we have to paint various tools and accessories made of wood, we'll start by applying different shades of brown colors to create distinctive hues. If we don't intend to use a wash or shade, the base coat should be darker than the color we plan to dry brush with, providing a solid foundation for the highlighting. Next, we select the paint we'll use for dry brushing. We choose a lighter color than the base coat, either a lighter shade of the same color or a contrasting hue depending on the effect we want to achieve. This technique is very common, but allow me to describe it in more detail. It's preferable to use an old and worn-out brush. Dip it into the paint. Then, using a paper towel or cloth, remove most of the paint from the brush. The goal here is to have very little paint left on the bristles, ensuring a subtle application. With our brush loaded, we lightly drag it over the raised areas of the miniature. The dry brush should catch the texture of the surface, leaving paint only on the raised details while allowing the base coat to show through in the recessed areas. For added depth and dimension, we build up layers of dry brushing. Applying multiple layers, each time using a lighter color than the previous layer. This gradual build-up enhances the highlighting effect. If you're on the hunt for top-tier paints and high-quality brushes, Fenris Workshop's online store has got you covered. They've curated an impressive selection of brands, and if you're curious to explore further, you can find the link in more details in the video description below. Here are some more key insights into the art of dry brushing. Avoid creamy paint. If it's too thick, we thin it down before starting the dry brushing process. Otherwise, we may end up with clods of paint on our model. Along the way, if dry paint accumulates on our brush, it is best to clean it before continuing. This technique is very taxing on the brushes. Let's take care of them so that they last longer. For small models, a round brush does the trick. However, for large surfaces, a flat brush is recommended. Brush control is another key element for better results. Intuitively, we tend to brush the surface in the opposite direction of the textures, but it may happen that we have to follow a parallel direction to reach a certain surface. Patience is required, and it is better to go over the same area several times than to risk leaving stains by trying to hurry. If the paint refuses to adhere to the surface because it is too smooth or because it is in a difficult-to-reach hollow, we may have to apply wet paint directly with the tip or the bristle side of the brush. Lastly, it's essential to remove any paint dust from the model before sealing it. Dry brushing tends to create a buildup of dry paint particles, and if these particles remain in the recesses and cracks of the model, they can distort the final result. This buildup may inadvertently introduce pale-colored pigments where shadows should be, affecting the overall appearance of the miniature. We simply use a clean paintbrush to sweep away excess paint dust after dry brushing is complete. Once we're satisfied with the highlighting, we can proceed with other painting techniques or add additional details to complete the models. We choose to paint the details only after completing dry brushing, primarily due to the challenges in controlling brush movements during this technique. By finishing these areas first, we can minimize the need for subsequent touch-ups on the details, thereby speeding up our painting process. By following these steps, you can achieve stunning results with the dry brushing technique, bringing your miniatures or accessories to life with depth and dimension. We can enhance the realism of the wooden surfaces by incorporating additional textures and effects. Adding mold and stains can bring depth and authenticity to the models, creating the appearance of weathering and age. Similarly, utilizing the tapping technique to apply light and texture adds a lifelike dimension, mimicking the natural growth often found on wooden surfaces. These subtle touches will contribute to the overall genuineness of our models, transforming each delicate piece into a pure delight for the eyes in each painting session into a captivating and enjoyable experience. And that concludes today's adventure. We hope you enjoyed this in-depth review of the dry brushing technique. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel would mean the world to us. Your support keeps us motivated to create more content. Thank you for being a part of our community. Let us know, do you intend to enter the Tabletop World 2024 annual painting competition? If you like more details, we've left a link to the rules in the video description. In our next installment of the Altburg Market series, we'll paint the stall from the tools, crates, and barrels kit. We also plan to add the final touch to our diorama before the deadline. Thanks for joining us today. And as always, keep on painting and take care.